Hey guys, Lon from the ECOM zone, and if you're still struggling with Facebook ads, then watch this video. So what actually matters when you're running Facebook ads for your dropshipping store? Is it your creatives? Well, Meta's Andromeda update is Meta's AI superbrain that helps match people with the right ads that they are most likely going to care about. There's a whole new architecture that we'll have to adapt to, and the algorithm should be able to identify your winners and losers faster than ever. So that means as long as you provide Meta with high quality ad creatives, then you'll have a high chance of converting. That means testing a variety of creatives, videos, statics, and carousels. Now for videos, if you're only testing UGC videos, for example, you could stitch multiple UGC content creators together. You could have one long authentic video where there's no cuts or edits. There's just plenty of videos you could test. There's also different formats. For example, founder ads, UGC ads, influencer ads, stitched influencer ads with B-roll shots, viral videos with UGC content. So the list goes on, even AI avatar videos. It's just there's so many types of formats out there, and if you're only testing one format and it's not working for you, then one, you can either test different formats, or two, is probably your hook. Now you do need to look at your metrics to figure out why. Next, static ads are still working really well, and it really depends on your audience group. If your audience group is the younger generation, then videos are probably better for that generation. But if you're selling towards the older demographics, then static ads works well. Now it also depends on the product you're selling. If you're selling a product like a supplement, beauty, skincare, or any sort of product that the customer doesn't really understand just by the first look, then you probably need a video ad to describe what it is and what it does. So next is your ad copy. Does that matter? Your ad copy is just as important as your ad creatives. Once your image or video hooks your viewers' attention, then they're going to read the first line of your ad. Now, if your first line isn't persuasive enough, they may just swipe away. And also, if your first line doesn't persuade them to read on, then they won't read the second line. And if your second line isn't that great, they won't read the third line. So each line matters, and that's why your ad copy is very important. Testing different ad copies to target different desires and messages is also very important. For example, if you're selling necklaces for females, they could be buying for their best friend, they could be buying for their mum, it could be a mum buying for their daughter, it could be a boyfriend buying for their girlfriend. There's just so many different desires and messages and angles that you could tackle. So you definitely need to brainstorm all of that, get a whole document ready and brainstorm all the desires and the angles. And you could also test a lot of different ad copy structures. If you look at a lot of big brands out there and go to their Facebook ad library, you can see they're testing short ad copy structures, longer form, even long form like a whole paragraph, just offers, etc. Even the smallest tweak makes a big difference when you're testing ad copy. And that's why for me, I test a lot of ad copy. You need to truly understand your audience, build out those avatars, understand their desires, and come up with angles and messages for each desire. You really want to brainstorm all of this out, whether it's on PC or paper. And then look at big brands advertising on meta ads, and you can just see how many ads they are testing a week and the different type of ad copy structures they're testing. So, does your ad strategy matter? Well, if you're worried about how to structure your ad account, well, don't be. Because it really doesn't matter how you structure your ads, as long as you stay organized and understand what you're doing, that's all that matters. I like to test both ABO and CBO, and I know Facebook's recent update likes us to go towards the CBO route because it's Advantage Plus. However, for me, I still like to test ABO. Now, do I test ABO and CBO for testing and scaling? Again, it really doesn't matter. If you want to use ABO, you can use ABO. If you want to use CBO, you can use CBO. Now, for those who don't understand what ABO and CBO is ad set budget optimization, and CBO is campaign budget optimization. It just basically depends on where you set your budget. With ABO, you have more control of where your budget goes because you're assigning it at ad set level. I also like to split campaigns by collections. So let's just say you're running a jewelry store, you got necklaces, rings, bracelets, whatever. You could split up your campaigns by those collections. And I also know some people split it by hero products. So let's just say you have 5 hero products, then you can have a campaign for each hero product. I also like to combine different countries into one ad set. Now, yes, one country may have more spend, but the thing that I found is whenever I split those countries out of those ad sets, it actually performs worse. I feel like Facebook understands your audience and knows when they sleep, when they're awake, when they're shopping. Because people do go work as well. So it's not just about sleeping. They're also going to work. They may be at certain times not on their phone the most. And that's why combining countries into one ad set works, because when one country sleeps, Facebook is smart enough to switch to another country where they're awake. I also like to test more than 10 ads in each ad set. Back then, I would only test 2 to 3 ads max, but nowadays, just test as many ads as you want in each ad set, especially with the Andromeda update. And also, you can test video ads with images ads now into one ad set. However, the video ads may get more spend, but to be fair, if it's performing, then great. If it's not, and you want to spend more money on your image ads, then you can separate them away from your video ads. I also like to test both broad vs interest stacked ad sets. So broad is very generic. Age left alone, gender left alone, everything left alone. The only thing you're targeting is your countries. With interest, you only have one interest in the detailed targeting section. And interest stacked ad sets is basically a stack of ad sets, like 5 interests, 10 interests, completely up to you. I do not test cost caps or bid caps unless it's Q4 Black Friday, because I just don't find them very efficient and effective. I just like running highest volume. I also like to keep all Advantage Plus optimization on except the music. The music choice they give is absolutely terrible, so you don't want to use them. However, I do like to keep all the other Advantage Plus optimization on, even at the placement level. I mainly test static ads, carousels, and catalog ads. However, I will be testing more video ads, UGC ads, and AI ads. So does your product matter? Honestly, it actually does. So only advertise products that you think will have a strong demand. Now, how do you measure demand? Well, it kind of can be like common sense. Like if you're selling a necklace, it's going to be high demand because people always buy jewelry. And you can also check the demand on Meta Ads Library. If there's a lot of people selling necklaces on there and advertising on Meta, then there's a strong demand. You just need to find a necklace that isn't so saturated and actually has a really strong appeal the second someone looks at your ad. You only advertise a product if the AOV is above $50 or has a profit margin of $25 or more. So let's just say you're buying something for $5 but you're selling it for $30, then that's not too bad because your profit margin is $25. Now the reason why this is important is because of your cost per click and your cost per acquisition. If your cost per click is really high, let's just say it's $1, that means you're paying $100 for 100 clicks, right? Because it's $1 per click. That means if you're selling something for $30 and your profit margin is $25, that means you need to make 4 sales out of those 100 visitors to break even. Not even to profit, just to break even. And the problem here is that that's a 4% conversion rate. It is very difficult to get a 4% conversion rate. It's unheard of, and your average conversion rate across multiple industries is 2%. And that's why you ideally want to advertise higher priced items, especially if you're in a competitive industry like the beauty niche. Competitive industries have higher CPMs and higher cost per clicks. You do not want to advertise products that can be found easily on Amazon, where more than 10 suppliers are selling the same or similar products. You also want to make sure your products have a high perceived value, as it makes it easier to sell. For example, jewelry. You can mark them up by 10x and people still may buy them. It really depends on how you market them and how you present them on your website. It also depends on how many reviews you have. When people buy products online, especially from a new brand, they are going to read your reviews. And if you don't have much reviews, how do they trust your brand? So that's why it's incredibly important to have reviews. This brings us to the next point, your website. Your website makes a massive difference. It needs to be trustworthy, it needs to have credibility, and it needs to look professional. You want to create a branded website that doesn't feel like a drop shipping site. However, your marketing is more important than your website. I've seen stores make a killing with a very basic website, but they crush it with their marketing strategies. For example, let's take a look at Fabulove. So we're on the Facebook ad library here. We want to click on all countries, all ads, Fabulove, this one here. And we can see active ads, 260 results here. And if you just keep scrolling down, look how many ads they've launched in August. That's insane. So what? We're on the first week of August and they're already testing 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 29 ads in the first week of August. Insane. And what you want to do is literally read the ad copy and find out how they're writing the ads. For example, this one is just a one-liner, click shop now to get 50% off. One-liner again. This is a one-liner plus over 100,000 sold. So they're testing a bunch of different ad copy structures and also different formats. Look how many videos they have running still. From February, these ads are still active. So they're still crushing it. Now get this, guys. Look at their website now. This here is their website. So basic. Now the reason why they're making a killing is 1, their product is unique, and 2, they have 800 reviews for each product. Now some of their products have less and some of them have more. Really depends. So like this product here, they have 6,000 reviews, guys. Absolutely crushing it. It's insane. So when viewers go onto their website and look at 6,000 5-star reviews, they could instantly trust it. Look how many images and videos they have from their customers. And then also, just look how basic their website is. Like, honestly, it's the most basic website ever. They just have 50-50 blocks. Again, 50-50 blocks. Videos from their customers, I'm guessing. Yeah, super simple website. Now, if your product requires key information to sell, then make sure to include that in your product pages. For example, if you're selling skincare product, beauty products, they all need important information on your product page so they can answer any questions that your customers may have. If you need reviews, then ask your family and friends to write them, especially if you can't find any reviews online or you found an untapped product, then you won't really find reviews online. So it's best to ask your family and friends, send your products to influencers, get them to write a review, etc. You also want to make sure you have your abandoned checkout flows, your browser abandonment flows, and your abandoned cart flows set up on both emails and SMS. So I set up my emails using Shopify flows, and I set up my SMS abandoned cart flows using Yotpo. Now each flow, you'll have 3 different emails. At each stage of these emails, you'll send the first one out in 30 minutes, the next one out in 9 hours, and the next one in 3 days. And each stage, you want to send a bigger discount code. And this is because customers usually abandon checkout because of the price of your products. So at each stage, you want to give a bigger discount. And that's it, guys. I hope you found this video valuable. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more content, and peace.